Since we're talking about based ass shit, longtime friend of the show, Rathbone, owned Ben Shapiro so hard.
All right, we're going to watch Ben debunks
that he got covered by Hassan. And so we're going to take the time out to just enjoy this. Friend of the show, Rathbone. I was among the first to support Rathbone. Proudly a Rathbone superfan, Mike from PA. We've listened to literally hundreds of hours of Rathbone music. So let's sit back and enjoy one of our own owning Ben Shapiro. And if you're not following Rathbone, what's going on? Oh, you're a Rathbone fan? Name every single one of his songs. Kiss Me in the Amazon Break Room or Scream Room. Kiss Me in the Amazon Scream Room. Mm-hmm.
Hamas propaganda.
So TikTok is filled with pro-Hamas people standing for the...
No, I don't like that. I can't get over it. Once a chatter told me that like Israelis do this and Ben does it as well, even though he's not Israeli, that the Israelis say Hamas on purpose. Why? I can't unhear it now.
We're going to go through some of their videos, and we will see what shining bright moral lights they have, how much nuance they can provide. This video is sponsored by our friends at Genucell.
Whenever you
what the fuck is Genucell?
I love Ben being like, this is why the ethnic cleansing must continue until I feel sated, until my bloodlust has gone away. This video was sponsored by Genucell. With Genucell, you can change your genes or whatever.
losing hope, just remember that this hashtag, the ones that say stand with Israel, got millions of views, but the Palestine ones got
Let's go! Run it up!
Let's go!
I don't get it. Why is that pro-Hamas?
Because all Palestinians are Hamas.
It's pro-Hamas to say stand with Palestine.
Don't ever let the media fool you. The people stand with Palestine. This is with all of the money that Israel...
First of all, I think that TikTok analytics to get a better assessment of what's going on is not the best way to do this.
It is if you want to know what people who are afraid to ask for more ketchup at a restaurant are thinking.
Okay, fair. I mean,
He's a fucking TikToker. He knows that's true. It's so funny when I go out with people from the internet. Oh my God. It is so fucking funny. Like, I wouldn't call myself gregarious or by any means, but I want to give you a small anecdote before we continue. So I'm at TwitchCon with VO, right? And we're meeting with like other people, like mods and other content creators. And they're like, oh, we want to go gamble. I'm like, okay, we can go gambling. We can do a little bit of gambling while you're in Vegas, right? And I'm not a huge gambler by any means, okay? I maybe go gambling once a year or less. And for a small amount of money. You know, I don't want to lose any money. So we go, and what happens? They just all follow me. I have 10 people just following me. And I'm like, well, what do you guys want to gamble? What do you guys want to do? And so they're like, well, I wanted to learn how to play craps. I'm like, okay, I'll teach you guys how to play craps. So we're in Caesars where the gambling limits are insane. It's like minimum bet $25. What the fuck is this shit? Get the fuck out of here. So I find a table with a minimum bet of like 10 or something. The only one. And all 10 of them are just like lurking around me, watching me. And all the dealers are just like completely thrown off. And I'm thinking to myself, internet people. Internet people. None of them sidle up against me, you know, or next to me to play. They're just all watching me. IRL chatters.
That's you.
Yeah.
Are you talking about yourself?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Spends on propaganda. It doesn't matter. The people are still hashtagging Palestine way more and doing it way more than Israel. So don't ever forget that.
You know why that is? Because there are 15 million Jews on the planet, and there are 1 billion Muslims on the planet.
Shit.
That would be.
I mean, never mind. I changed my mind on all this.
Wait, I mean, he's not wrong. That he's literally right. That is definitely a part of it, and yet there is no democracy. It's also not 1 billion, it's 2, so.
Be the reason. I love the conspiratorial. The Jews with their money and those moneyed Jews. But we are still winning.
Wait, it's a conspiracy to say that Israel spends a ton of money specifically to propagandize? What are you saying?
Like this is actually how anti-Semitism is fomented. Like these disgusting Zionists like Ben Shapiro are fomenting anti-Semitism by doing something and saying, oh, did you notice me doing that? That's very anti-Semitic of you. Oh, did you see me carpet bombing a civilian population? How anti-Semitic of you to notice. What? Oh, did you notice that AIPAC is bribing politicians? Oh, how anti-Semitic of you to notice. That foments anti-Semitism by people that are in good faith critique of Israel being told, oh, it's anti-Semitic to critique Israel. Now, everybody who's normal understands that Jewish people, especially in the United States, are overwhelmingly opposed to Benjamin Netanyahu and carpet bombing. We just saw a huge group of Jews in New York take over Grand Central fucking Station demanding a ceasefire. This has nothing to do with Jewish people.
Classic. Are you saying Jews love money? It's like, no, man. Nobody said that. Also, 50 million Jews, but like not all of them are pro-Israel, especially not as pro-Israel as you are.
Well, have you considered that there are a lot of Muslims?
That part is not
all trending.
That part is not wrong. He is right about that.
I know.
Like that is part of the reason why the hashtag is so prominent. And
I gotta disagree with Hassan here. I don't think it's prominent because there's so many more Muslims. This is an English website and an English hashtag. You know, like we're talking about English speaking Muslims is not as many as Hassan is. Like the advantage is a lot less than Hassan is putting out. And the other issue is just, this isn't just divided by religion. That's Ben Shapiro trying to divide it by religion. It's not divided by religion. It's divided by your opinion on Zionist colonialism. And yes, the vast, vast majority of people who know what that is oppose it.
And it's not just like the Muslim world as well. I would say that there are absolutely more people all around the world that look to the situation in Israel with their ethnic cleansing campaign and say that's fucked up, than vice versa, regardless of the overwhelming media narrative, regardless of what our politicians are saying. So on that front, he's technically not wrong. I know he's just saying it about, you know, there's more Muslims or whatever, but it's just ridiculous.
Because the people love us. Or maybe there are a billion Muslims and a huge number of them hate Israel and are anti-Semitic.
Be very careful what you say about.
That's just blatantly Islamophobic. That's just blatantly Islamophobic. That is, do you see how blatant bigotry against Muslim people is allowed? He could just say, oh, because they're Muslim, they're anti-Semitic. And he's allowed to say that.
Israel.
Fair.
Any believer going against Israel, you are making yourself an enemy against God.
I don't know how this Zionist propaganda made it to the black community, but it is incorrect. First of all, Palestinians and Israelis worship the same God. It's the God from the Abrahamic religions.
Wait, why did he go,
Ben Shapiro is a This is one thing this is a difference in opinion between me and Hassan. I don't find this shit funny as he does. Like, I think the biggest disagreement with me and Hassan is he just doesn't take American fascism seriously enough, in my opinion. Like, he laughs at it at times when you should be pissed. In my opinion. Maybe I'm just humorless. But, like, what the fuck, man?
Be very careful what you say about Israel.
Fair.
Any believer going against Israel, you are making yourself an enemy against God.
I don't know how this Zionist propaganda made it to the black community, but it is incorrect. First of all, Palestinians and Israelis worship the same God. It's the God from the Abrahamic religions.
Wait, what?
You can see how blatantly Islamophobic and racist Ben Shapiro is by his reaction there. What a fucking disgusting piece of shit.
Why did he go, It's true.
He has to laugh or else it becomes the angry Muslim. I'm black. I know how white people. Yeah, that's such a good point. Maybe I'm being a privileged white guy who's allowed to be mad.
What the Why did he wait? Am I crazy? Why did he go?
Good point, Chatter.
First of all, Palestinians and Israelis worship the same God. It's the God from the Abrahamic religions.
Like, he's like shocked. He got whiplash from that. He got scared.
The Bible does not say anything about Israel because Israel was created in 1948 when the British and the United Nations decided to fight a war with Palestine.
What the f*** is she talking about? What in the world is she talking about? Fight a war with Palestine? In what sense? This is such pseudo-history. These people are morons. They're morons. The British mandate was in place until 1947.
It wasn't a war. It was just a massacre at that point.
Yeah. At that point, the British weren't actively helping. Before that, they were. They were fucking arming and training these Zionist brigades, which is like very Western involvement in the Middle East core to just like train these fucking rebel groups at the time. And then they go and...
The funny thing about Israel complaining about terrorism is that Israel was literally founded on terrorism. They did terrorism against the British soldiers and administrators, including bombing. There's the King David Hotel bombing. There's the Sergeant's Affair. There's many other terrorist attacks they did against the British. So the British were just like, you know what? Fuck this shit. We don't care. We don't care. We're out. Do you have a good content creator or article that would help my ignorant mother get up to speed about why we should support a free Palestine? Oh boy, what is a really good introduction and video? Because people love videos. I'd have to think about exactly what I would give for the most basic video. Dex313, thank you for the tier 1. That's a good question. Mehdi Hassan has some good stuff. I mean, Amnesty International has one, Cruel System of Domination and Crime Against Humanity. That's a good one. Reese's Pieces just linked.
And do a suicide bombing on your fucking headquarters, which is like a tale as old as time itself.
There it is.
Like
91 deaths.
Blowback
91
coming
deaths.
from the Jewish terror cells at the time, the Zionist terror cells like Irgun and Lehi, is a timeless certified classic. Yeah.
Certified classic.
It is. It is. They literally, the British were like, oh yeah, it's cool. We'll take the Zionist brigades and we'll fucking train them and we'll give them weapons and then they'll like deal with it on their own. They'll be able to deal with it on their own. And then, oh fuck, the Arabs are revolting too much. Maybe we should stop Jewish immigration into the area because it's becoming too much of a problem. Oh fuck, oh my God, the Zionist brigades that we trained blew up our fucking headquarters and killed 91 people.
Balfour Declaration declared a Jewish state on both sides of the Jordan. That would be Israel and what is today Jordan. And then, over subsequent years, the British then
Wait. Oh, he's doing the thing where he's like, listen up, Transjordan. That's the one kind of trans I'll always defend.
British mandate was in place until 1947. The Balfour Declaration declared a Jewish state on both sides.
Even when Israel is done annexing the Palestinian territories, you think they're going to be done? Think they're going to be done? Think the fascists are going to be done?
Of the Jordan. That would be Israel and what is
Yeah, look, he's trying to, all of a sudden, he's recognizing Transjordan. What's up? What's happening?
today Jordan. And then, over subsequent years, the British then whittled that down. They cut off all of Jordan and handed it to the Arabs. They then cut off most of the land of Israel and handed it to the Arabs. Israel and the Jews accepted every one of those deals, every one of them, including a rump state that was indefensible. What was called by many Jews the Auschwitz borders after World War II, because it was so indefensible. The Jews accepted every one of those deals. The Arabs rejected every one of those deals. What the hell is she? And then she's suggesting that the United States and the Brits fought a war against the.
I like the idea that, you know, Jordan is supposed to be ours as well. Like he is off the rocker, dude. It's ridiculous. Like the main point of contention in this situation is that ethnic cleansing occurred an ethnic displacement occurred as a consequence of the Zionist project. You can't just be like, well, it was ours. More of it was ours, actually. And it's really fucked up. We're not even asking for more of it now. It's really, really messed up. It's like, what are you, a fucking baby? What's wrong with you? These are like real human beings that live there. Like he's literally crying. There's like, actually, it was our land. It was given to us by the British. The fuck?
The British, during the 1930s, restricted Jewish immigration into British Mandate Palestine at the behest of the Arabs, leaving millions of Jews to die in Europe. It was so bad that the Jews...
Yeah, really interesting there. Why didn't they fucking let them into England? What are you saying? They were not allowed into America. They were not allowed into fucking... the UK. Like, oh man, I can't believe it's the fucking Arabs' fault that Jewish people died in the Holocaust. What's wrong with you? This is what really pisses me off about the propaganda that is so filthy and so fucking deeply anti-Arab. Like, he has to fucking tie everything back to Arabs. This kind of like ahistoric projection is unironically the same kind of Holocaust revisionism Benjamin Netanyahu engaged in.
When the British Mandate ended, the British summarily turned over many of the key strategic locations and weapons to the Arabs. Again, these people...
What?
Famously, the British armed all the Arabs there.
What the fuck? Wait.
Just like after the Balfour Declaration, the British occupying force didn't allow any Palestinian newspapers to print any information about it for 2 years because they knew that if the people there found out about it, they would fucking flip out.
That's insane. I feel like a lot of the history that he's explaining is like the exact opposite almost. Where the idea that like Zionist forces were not armed to the fucking gills and had basically a standing military. Like the Haganah was a standing military, which I believe at the time was like, what, 100,000 strong or something? Like it was a crazy amount of people that were trained by the British Mandate security forces.
Again, these people don't know history. They don't even pretend to know history. They Google something on Wikipedia and then promptly fail to even interpret it properly.
And cut that country in half to create an ethno-state for Ashkenazi Jewish people. And ever since that war, Israel has taken more and more and more of Palestine's territory.
Okay.
Bro, they literally, I can't get over this. They literally, one, disarmed the Palestinians. Two, armed and trained the Zionist brigades. They also did PSYOPs, like some of the earliest versions of PSYOPs. I guess they were doing PSYOPs at that point, where they would go in and like, play fucking loudspeakers on top of military trucks, which the Arabs did not have, by the way, but the Zionist brigades did. Interesting. I wonder how they got access to fucking airplanes and also trucks, armored trucks and whatnot. I guess it was because, they stole it from the Palestinians. I don't know. But they would have big speakers where they would blast, and tanks as well, of course. They would have big speakers where they would blast the sounds of like machine gun fire and bombs to freak out the remaining Palestinians to ensure that they fucking completely left. Of course, they would kill people too on top of that. They were doing like full-scale war with psychological operations of that magnitude.
Okay. Israel accepted the partition plan by the UN in 1947-48. The Arabs rejected it and launched a war. Israel won the war and got a little bit more territory. In 1960,
that's exactly what happened. That was it. No more.
No, I'm sorry. That's literally akin to genocide denial. Straight up. I think that's fucking gross.
Yeah, but Israel said that they agreed to the partition, so
Yeah, they agreed with it so much that they just forcibly expelled 700,000 people from areas that they used to live in.
1967, the Arab nations launched an all-out war to destroy Israel, and in 6 days, Israel took the...
Israel started that war. What is he talking about? Israel started the 6-day war. What does he mean the Arabs started the war? What are you talking about? Maybe I'm misremembering, but okay. On 5 June 1967, as the UNEF was in the process of leaving the zone, Israel launched a series of preemptive airstrikes against Egyptian airfields and other facilities, launching its war effort. The Arabs attacked in 67. You mean the Israelis attacked out of nowhere?
That they used to live in.
1967, the Arab nations launched an all-out war to destroy Israel, and in 6 days, Israel took the...
They launched an all-out war to destroy Israel. Luckily, Israel got the jump on them. You know what I'm saying? Luckily, they were they were going to do that. I promise. I swear they were going to do that. Except, no, they weren't. And like literally, American authorities, Israeli authorities openly admit that that was not happening.
The entirety of what is now modern-day...
It's so strange. Isn't it crazy how Israel is always the underdog in these stories and perfectly morally infallible?
Hell yeah.
Like, it's just, they've never done anything wrong. It's always so fucked up.
All of
it's
their
always
enemies are ontologically evil.
Yeah.
And nothing they do is wrong.
It's crazy because, like, all of their enemies are just about to attack them, and then they just immediately attack first. In self-defense, of course. Preemptive self-defense.
Israel, including Judea, Samaria, and the Gaza Strip. In 1973, another all-out war by the Arabs. In 1979, Israel gave back the entire Sinai Desert to Egypt.
Also, one of the grossest parts about this is that they always, like Ben and everyone else does this as well when they want to defend the Zionist project, they always will say Arabs is a shady way.
He just has Israel fully annexing Gaza and the West Bank. Look at Ben's map. And the Golan Heights. He has Israel just with all these occupied territories as part of Israel. What the fuck?
The Zionist project, they always will say Arabs is a shady way to conflate Arabs with Palestinians. Because in a lot of these circumstances, it's not necessarily like the Palestinians themselves doing any of this. It's just the Palestinians getting fucking butchered, slaughtered, sometimes by even the Jordanian occupation, as a matter of fact. So the idea that it's like Arabs, they're doing it, the Arabs are doing it, the Arabs are doing it together is a way to try and continue the sin of all of the Arab nations and Arab nationalist movements that engaged in purging Jewish people from their countries in the aftermath of Israel's formation and leading up to Israel's formation in their own post-colonial endeavors. They want to always make it seem like Palestinians are responsible because like all Arabs are monolithic. They're all responsible for just hating on Israel too much. And Palestinians are the greatest expression of like that responsibility. That's why they deserve to be ethnically cleansed from Israel.
There's also just something about it coming out of his mouth that just feels so intensely racist.
Oh yeah, I mean he is.
I mean, like I know he is, but I can't even describe because. And then if you said that, if you were like, well, it just feels like you're using this to create a monolith, otherizing this group of people in a disgusting way. You'd be like, well, isn't that what we call them? They're Arabs, aren't they? You know, like that's What should I call them?
Yeah, they all the Arabs were working in unison and collaborating and have a one-track mind, famously, which is to kill all the Jews. That's what was going on.
Egypt. In 1995, under the Oslo Accords, Israel surrendered the Gaza Strip as well as large swaths of Judea and Samaria to terrorist groups in order to attempt.
Oh my God. It's just Israel was like, hey man, please, I want Gaza to prosper. Oh wait, just kidding. We're gonna keep fucking putting settlements there. There was no surrender of the Gaza Strip, which is so disgusting to say to begin with. It's like, oh wow, we surrendered the Gaza Strip. Like, here, have this fucking piece of land for 2 million people. Anytime someone who is defending the Zionist project says that Israel always was on board with Palestinian statehood or giving Palestinians autonomy, it is a fucking lie. No, Ben is not brainwashed and Ben is not ignorant. Ben is a
fascist.
Malicious liar who is bloodthirsty and wants the full-scale ethnic cleansing of Palestinians.
He basically believes in Jewish supremacy in Israel. He believes that Jewish people should have rights that other people don't have. He literally believes that God, yes, the God that created the universe, wants Jewish people to own a sliver of land where they are the only people that have a right to that land. That's what he actually believes. Do you understand how insane that is?
Pull up the sewer tweet. You know that one?
Yeah, the Arabs like to bomb shit. Israelis like to build. Arabs like to live in sewage and blow up
Bomb
stuff.
crap, yeah.
Classic. He is a racist monster. As far as being like, oh, we gave Gaza back to terrorists is fucking disgusting.
These people don't know anything about history. They don't even pretend to know anything about history. It's absurd. We'll get to more on this.
That's facts, though. I don't know anything about history.
Yeah, Ben, on the other hand, also doesn't know any like accurate information from history. He knows only enough to like omit key details to make it seem, and not even doing a good job, in my opinion, to make it seem like Israel is perfectly infallible and perfectly just in its actions.
We will never feel ashamed of our support of the Palestinian people.
Hamas.
Never be harassed into silence.
Black student organizers at Harvard are being attacked by Zionist and right-wing forces for their support of Palestine.
Okay.
Their faces are being shown on trucks around campus, accusing them of being anti-Semites.
Well, okay, actually, can we fill that in right there? The reason that those trucks are on campus is because a bunch of student groups signed a statement blaming Israel for the massacre of...
Wow, I can't believe it. You know who else did that? Haaretz, woke scold anti-Semites. The Israeli paper of record editorial team. I'm here to tell you, woke scold anti-Semites. I would dox all of them too. You know who else I want to dox? The Shin Bet, okay? The internal Israeli security apparatus. Woke scolds, which is identical to what the Netanyahu administration said at the time. But, you know.
I want you to understand. We are at a point where fascism has pretty much overtaken conservatism worldwide. Conservatism has been subsumed.
All these guys, they're woke. They're woke scolds. I hate those guys.
Actually, Hamas started this whole thing. Remember October 7th? Actually, that's wrong. Before October 7th, Israeli security forces killed 248 Palestinians, and 40 of them were children, and that was just this year. And if you want to go back further than that, we can look at the recent history of war crimes committed by the Israeli government. Operation Protective Edge in 2014, Operation Pillar of Defense in 2012, Operation Cast Lead in
I mean, it's cool that he's letting this guy fucking spit. I mean, it's true.
2009.
What started each one of those operations?
They started it! Dude, it's awesome. Ben Shapiro's always been baby-like, obviously, which
baby
is
girl.
Yeah, like he is very baby girl for sure. But like something about Israel turns his commentary into like the most petulant, spoiled child, like the fat kid in the Wonka's factory or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? He's just
Otto?
like I don't know.
What's his name? Otto, Chad?
I don't know. I've never
Okay,
even
first
watched
of
it. I've
all,
only seen like
Otto isn't the bad one. That's not the one. Otto is just a pleasantly plump boy. Okay, don't go after Otto.
gifs of it. But
it's Augustus
Gloop. I don't know. He just he is
shit.
like
Veronica, or what is her name? Violet? What was it? Veronica Salt?
Okay. He just
Verkula
sounds
Salt?
literally like
Verkula?
Boss Baby,
Yeah.
like a baby throwing a fucking
she was the one who
tantrum.
sucks.
Islamic barrages of rockets into civilian centers in Israel.
Dude, I'm not even dude, we have to give the Gaza Strip an Iron Dome. First of all, arm both sides of a conflict, we make more money. That's number one.
Businessman.
I'm a fucking businessman, dog. I love the military-industrial complex. We need to start arming the Palestinian population so they can have an even playing field. Like, what do you mean? More war, more conflict. Conflict continues, right?
War is good for the
economy. More money. War is good for the economy.
That's what started each one of these operations. I love this moron. I guess the idea here is that, if you point out that what has caused the current conflict is the massacre of 1,500 Jews. Like, well, you know, before that, Israel killed other Palestinians. You're like, yeah, but why would they do that? And the answer is because they were associated with terrorist group.
Palestinian babies, Israel's greatest nightmare.
40
Nobody
children.
does it like the Palestinian babies do.
The thing is, babies
40
grow
children.
up and they become terrorists.
Yeah,
so maybe
they're terrorists in the making.
Do the math.
Yeah.
Do the math.
He's so
Jesus
good. He's
Christ,
so good at the arguments.
And he's like, yeah, but what about the conflict before? Oh, you mean because the terrorists were firing rockets into Israel? It's an infinite regress of dumb.
That's always how it works. It was always like first intifada, terrorists throwing rockets into Israel. You know, it was always the same. It was always the Nakba, terrorists throwing rockets, Hamas throwing rockets into Israel. Guys, never forget, Israel is always in the right. It's just crazy. I don't know how it happened.
Okay, thank you, Sailor Jeffro. We're not watching Willy Wonka. Baluki, thank you for the 4 months.
They're always in the...
Why are my messages berating Daily Wire being deleted? Probably calling for, like, brigading, which is against the rules on Twitch.
Right. It's just so crazy how, like, the luck.
You'll
like,
get me
think about
banned.
the luck that, like, for 75 years, every single preemptive first strike that you've engaged in, you're always doing it in self-defense.
Just name a bunch of operations without actually explaining why the operations were initiated.
Yeah, but you don't mention why.
Yeah, why were they initiated? I wonder. I don't know. Maybe fucking killing and brutalizing Palestinians at the mosque in Jerusalem. Every fucking year, there is literally a march through Palestinian territories where Palestinians live in both Sheikh Jarrah, but also throughout the West Bank, where the most far-right ultra fucking Zionists will march through the streets and purposely try to incite the Palestinians and instill fear upon their hearts by celebrating Israel's territorial acquisition. And they say incredibly horrifying things in that process. On top of that, they do the annual Al-Aqsa Ramadan raids. They also stop the Palestinians in Gaza from even going into Al-Aqsa.
This is the current Rathbone TikTok link. Everybody get in here. 251,000 followers? What the fuck? He's on fire! He's famous! Hassan react video, Benjamin. Look at it! He's fucking killing it! His most recent TikTok is this one, right? Or is it this one?
You put over 1 million kids in a concentration camp? Hey, comparing anything to the Holocaust is denying the Holocaust. Nothing compares to the Holocaust. Okay, well, on October 7th, Hamas is trying to exterminate us. It's like the Holocaust all over again. But you just said, we must protect ourselves. We are the victims here. You proclaiming virginal innocence and equating yourself to be the same as the victims of the Holocaust, while you indiscriminately and systematically genocide people who have been living in what has been likened to an open-air concentration camp. And furthermore, the fact that you've been doing this for decades is in and of itself a denial of the Holocaust. Hamas targeted civilians. Israel is targeting civilians right now. No, Israel is at war. Well, if that's the case, then Israel is committing war crimes. Under the principle of the international humanitarian law and summarily expressed by Israeli scholar and former president of Tel Aviv University, Yoram Dinstein, there is no genuine difference between a premeditated attack and a reckless disregard for the principle of distinction. What's the principle of distinction? Parties to an armed conflict must at all times distinguish between civilians and combatants, and between civilian objects and military objectives. You put over 1 million kids in a concentration.
What a kid. Like, honestly, can I just say this? Nothing makes me want to be on TikTok more than Rathbone. If I go on TikTok, it's because of Rathbone.
Deliberately, they restrict their freedom of movement. They beat the shit out of the people. They beat them in the fucking mosque. It's completely unacceptable.
ICAST-led happened. Hamas fired rockets into Israel. And that was because Israel broke the ceasefire agreement they had on November 4th, 2008, while the entire world was in euphoria over the United States electing its first black president, Barack Obama.
It's almost like Netanyahu is, you know, he takes advantage of the world news cycle when there's a big event to do ethnic cleansing.
Israel used the opportunity to break the ceasefire agreement and raid Gaza and kill Palestinians.
For no reason, they're just raiding Gaza, just for fun. They just raid.
Dude, he predicted Ben's argument. This guy's awesome. I'm going to give him a follow. Thank you, Ben. He did a pretty good job. Okay, sick. I normally don't like TikTokers in general. Hate those guys. Fucking silly and you know, especially ones that like talk about politics every now and then. Lame.
Did you just fart?
Are you lying so that you can, you know, you have no noise gate, right? If I farted, you could hear it.
I think you just pulled a silent but deadly on me.
Oh, that's funny. you pulled the fucking ripcord.
Raid Gaza.
Is that how much I upset you that you had to lie about it?
This is a chemical attack that's happening right now.
It's ridiculous.
To do what exactly? To steal their nothing? What would the raid entail?
Honestly, that is the ultimate maneuver. Because, oh, Hassan's winning on the like looks game, but we don't have smell-o-vision. So if you're trying to launch an attack on Hassan, you gotta accuse him of being stinky. That's the secret.
Ooh, he had a really good one. That was good.
To steal their nothing.
Well, I mean, according to the Israeli officials, they call it mowing the lawn. So that's why they do it, to fucking kill them.
Israel so desperately wanted not to be in Gaza, they surrendered the place to a fucking terrorist group for 20 years, who then...
Yeah, no, totally. And they just like kind of let them thrive after that. It was pretty cool when
famously.
Yeah, famously. First of all, they literally pulled out of Gaza specifically so they could bomb it. Do a little bit of ethnic cleansing there, you know what I mean? Also, the secondary purpose is that you could just fucking sit there and act like that is the only Palestinian Authority that you care about, that you care to deal with, that you increasingly radicalize, knowing full well that they will retaliate.
You know, one thing that I've noticed, they keep saying they're running out of power, they're running out of fuel, they're running out of water. You know the thing they haven't been running out of? Rockets.
Well, you're leaving out a lot of context. You got to go back further than that. To 1967? Yeah, let's go back to 1967, when Israel started a preemptive war.
Egypt was...
But wait, that means...
Every time he makes...
Egypt was in their own territory with the... You're allowed to be in your own territory, Ben.
This guy's like, you're a fucking idiot, Ben. And then Ben's like, God, no.
I like that he is having an argument with himself, but
it's Ben Shapiro.
But he's doing a good job of representing Ben's positions.
Mobilizing its air force.
Syria and Jordan, and took more land from Palestine, further enclosing Palestine.
And by the way, like can I talk about for a second about the Rathbone style here? This is kind of like this is how they used to do it back in the day. Like I'm talking about Galileo, right? When Galileo published his treatise about how the Earth was not at the center of the solar system, he wrote like this. He had basically a guy in his book who represented geocentrism. What did he call the guy? His name was basically stupid asshole. Yeah, Simplicus. And he basically put quotes from the Pope in Simplicus's mouth. That was how the book was constructed. So you had like the simpleton arguing for geocentrism, and Galileo was like, it was basically Chad versus Soy Jack memes, but the Middle Ages. Chad heliocentrist, Soy geocentrist. So the style that Rathbone is using, goes back quite a long time. What's very funny about the Galileo shit is actually the Pope was a big supporter of Galileo up until that point. But Galileo had humiliated him to such an extent that politically the Pope had to crack down on him. Not defending the Pope, not defending the Catholic Church. I'm just saying, like, Galileo bit the hand that feeds. But honestly, Chad move. Honestly, Chad move. That's what makes him even cooler. Socratic dialogues. Yes, Dick's theory. That's what I'm getting at. I just wanted to talk about Galileo because it's funny.
Palestinians into the Gaza Strip. They illegally occupied the Gaza Strip and the West Bank in what has been formally condemned ever.
Imagine losing a debate to a TikTok that you're watching.
Wait, yeah, didn't he watch this? Didn't he watch the TikTok already? He just skipped it. It's fucking sick.
What happened is Ben Shapiro is a lazy piece of shit. So he had his producers grab a bunch of pro-Palestinian TikToks that were doing well. And so that Ben Shapiro could get good engagement, he just had Ben reply live. But Ben is losing the debate because his position is indefensible.
So angry
that he's like he's like getting mad, but also he just gave this guy 348,000 views, and like not every single person is a Ben Shapiro fan that's watching this, and honestly this is great for him. How do you lose to a TikTok?
Since 1967 as an illegal occupation in violation of international law, unilaterally condemned by the World Court.
Who gives a shit about the World Court?
Bitch, what do you mean? Dude, this is my favorite way that like Ben gets angry, where he's like, the UN is anti-Semitic and no one should listen to them, or like the IDF account or the Israel account does this as well on Twitter, when they're like, own the Geneva Conventions by being like, ceasefire is anti-Semitic, and it's like, dude, what the fuck? Sometimes you have to blow up babies. Like, what are you doing? You're not winning anybody over with this. If this is the best you got, you're fucking cooked.
Or you mean organizations staffed by people who hate Israel and the UN and the Red Cross?
Yes. God, I love this.
Of the countries on the planet.
Yeah. No.
For censuring them constantly.
Staffed by, duh. Majority of the planet is anti-Semitic. Everyone's anti-Semitic. When America says like we need to allow humanitarian aid to come into Israel, that's anti-Semitic. It's anti-Semitic. Everybody hates Israel, and Israel, of course, represents all Jews. And I've created this perfect little logical box in my mind. And if you don't agree with me, then you're also Hamas.
Like the UN, the Red Cross,
oh my God,
the Geneva Conventions,
the Geneva Conventions.
Consensus.
He's doing this.
He did it! I don't know. I didn't know he was going to go there, but he did it. He's like, Geneva Conventions.
Geneva Suggestions.
Yeah, you've literally lost the plot. You've lost the majority of the people. At least like liberals act like these things mean anything. Like, I know it doesn't, right? But like, you can't turn around and be like, Geneva Conventions. Who cares about the Geneva Conventions? We have to kill Palestinian babies. You're not even debunking him. You're just angrily yelling at like global institutions and the rules that for the most part benefited Israel and now are like lightly critical of Israel's gross violations of all of those rules of war. But it's too much. I can't believe it.
It's in defense of Hamas, the Geneva Convention.
In the world all call on Israel to return to its pre-June 1967 borders.
That's not even true. That's not even true. Even the UN resolutions, which are garbage and stupid, even those UN resolutions call on Israel to surrender some of the occupied territories.
He's so... Dude, this is so good. He's so good. Why did he get owned by a video he chose personally to watch?
Can I just say, Rathbone, I'm proud of you, man. Like, I've seen Rathbone, I'm not taking credit for it myself, but I've seen Rathbone become such a sharper political arguer and presenter over the years. I think some small part of that was my influence, but others' influences as well. He's doing such a great job, you know? And I'm proud of him. I'm proud of him.
That was awesome. Yeah, he hates the UN and Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch and B'Tselem and the Geneva Conventions. And he also openly said occupied territories, which is cool. Why did he?
I mean, the Geneva Convention is woke. Like, we can agree that it's kind of woke.
Yeah, it's fucked up. Like, what do you mean war crimes? You know what I mean? I think you should be able to do whatever you want during war. There's no reason for it.
Not all occupied territory. Those are disputed territories. Some occupied territories.
Yeah, but you're missing more.
Wait,
it's still going, bro. He's beating him up.
Okay,
this guy doesn't even know he's in a debate with Ben Shapiro.
Yeah,
right
and he's fucking crushing, dude. Every moment in the last like 3 minutes of this 14-minute video has just been him getting fucking owned and yelling about the Geneva Conventions and admitting that Israel is occupying territory and like you know should give back some of it, at least according to the UN. Like it's great.
Rathbone is just eating him. He's just fucking him up.
Okay, let's go back to
67 was fine.
1948. In 1948,
I sent Ambi the OG Rathbone video, and here we are. Isn't that great?
No. Don't talk about that.
Why is he? He's losing.
If Rathbone fucks up, Mike will deny knowing him too? Huh? If Rathbone does some creepy ass shit, yeah, I will distance myself from him.
Losing the argument. He's still losing the argument. No, it's fine. It's fine.
No, don't talk about that.
67 is fine. Oh, what the fuck?
Zionists extirpated about 1 million Palestinians from their homes and forced them to relocate to the Gaza Strip.
What? Excuse me. In 1947-48, there was a full-scale war between Arabs and Israelis. Somewhere between 700...
That's crazy, dude.
What? And then immediately explains what happened. Rock Lobster, thanks for the 8 months. Cade Chewy, thank you for the 9 months.
Yeah, full-scale war. Like when they went into the Deir Yassin village, which already had a truce pact with all of the nearby villages, right? The Jewish villages, and therefore did not even have like a standing militia or anything. And, you know, they threw children in ovens and people in wells and stuff like that, and like horrifyingly raped them and stuff. That was a war, actually. That was just war. Simply war. Many documented instances of war crimes from that entire period of time, which Israel refuses to declassify, even though we have passed the 50-year mark, by the way, which is so American. God, Israel is so America. It's crazy. The Nakba was not a fucking war. It's like, I'm sorry to go there, but it would be as ridiculous as saying like the Holocaust was a fucking war, like a two-sided war. It's not. It's ridiculous. You're fighting against people who were ultimately a civilian population. Some of those people had guns, but for the most part, you literally had a standing military at that point that was armed to the fucking teeth and was butchering the shit out of Arabs. Yeah, it's like saying the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising was a war, kind of. Why Israel is blocking access to his archives? Yeah, Israel's concealing vital records to prevent darkest periods in its history from coming to light, academics say. Yeah, the only reason why we have information on the Nakba is because not everyone died. And also the members of Haganah and the...
Hey, when you do genocide, denial is step 10. The 10 stages of genocide. Denial, that's stage 10. So when Israel blocks us from seeing this information, that's because they're acknowledging they committed a genocide.
Irgun brigades and the Lehi, I don't know, fucking the different terror cells, some of which that actually called themselves terrorists, by the way, self-declared terror cells. Lahi, Stern Gang, which is the pejorative, like the negative way of referring to Lehi, Stern Gang. Some of them tried to fucking collaborate with the Nazis.
Oh,
like,
shit.
Yeah, no, they're really, really bad guys. Not good at all, okay?
Either fled or were expelled from areas where there was military activity. Hundreds of thousands of Palestinians left in the lead up to the war and during the war because all social services had collapsed.
I hate him so much. Like, I want to laugh, but yeah, Trail of Tears. The Native Americans were simply fled. Armenian genocide. Armenians simply fled from areas. They were not forced or anything. They just simply left on their own volition, never to return. Like, what the fuck are you saying? What are you saying? You're doing genocide denial. For the record, I brought up the Armenian example. I don't want anybody to fucking turn around and be like, oh, see, we got him. He's denying the Armenian genocide. I'm not. I'm saying that this is akin to denying the Armenian genocide.
Because the Arab nations were telling them to get out. The other part is that you may have noticed many Arabs remain, which is why 20% of Israel's population currently is Israeli.
Many Arabs remained. We didn't kill them all. That's evidence we didn't do it. What? There's Jewish people in Germany now. There's Jewish people in France now. Does that deny the existence of the Holocaust? No, Ben.
Oh my God, he hates Arabs so much. Some of them didn't fucking get the memo, and they remain.
Today, about 70% of all Gazans are considered refugees from the 1948 expulsion.
Okay, pause that for a second. How is that even possible? Seriously, how's that even possible? Well, folks, unfortunately...
Oh, that's it. He got
How is that even possible? Rathbone, you fucking cooked Ben Shapiro. Holy shit.
Decided, fuck it. We're done with that.
Holy shit. Rathbone King.